Definitely, Ali. Perfect. It started recording. So I'll just go ahead and quickly start. So this is how the code lab looks like. And the title of the code lab is Building an Autonomous Supply Chain Agent with Gemini 3 Flash and AlloyDB, right? And the title may seem complex to you at first, but when we really break down what we are doing in this code lab and what we are actually doing in this entire process, not only will it seem and it is very easy to actually complete the lab and learn a lot here in the process, but it is also very important to learn the architectures that we're using here, the kind of nuances that we're looking at when we're thinking about the technology that we're using, right? So quickly taking you all through the overview. Usually I've seen that whenever, and all of you would have seen it as well, that let's say if you had the picture of a box, 10 boxes in a picture, 15 boxes in a picture, and you go ahead and ask any common LLM, not going to name any of them. You ask any common LLM that, hey, count the number of picture boxes in this picture, it'll most likely hallucinate. Maybe it had 15 and the AI guessed 12. And this is very important of a use case to actually tackle, because this is not just about supply chain when you are making projects as a student and you need accuracy, or when you are actually using agentic vision in your production systems in a company that you're working in, or in anything that you're doing. Vision has become a very, very important aspect of all of our agents, and which is why we need to be able to implement deterministic AI engineering, which is, a practice of building AI systems that do not guess. If you ask it to do something complex, it will 100% do it right. And that's exactly what we are going to do here, right? So very quickly going through the architecture, what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and create two agents, a vision agent and a supplier agent. The vision agent is going to go ahead and connect to Gemini 3 Flash, and the supplier agent is actually going to go ahead and connect to Vertex AI embeddings and AlloyDB, right? AlloyDB is going to give us the scale and the speed that we need, and it's going to act as a very high speed vector database for us. And all of this, we are going to interact with all of this through a front end that is already built for you inside the code lab, right? So pretty exciting things today that we're going to do. The vision agent is using Gemini 3 Flash and code execution. The memory agent is using AlloyDB AI with the scan index. And the agents are talking to each other using the A2A protocol, which is enabling agent-to-agent communication, right? So we'll quickly begin with the core lab. I'll just go off camera now so that everybody is able to focus on the screen, and let me get started. Okay, so now that you all have the billing enabled and the project enabled, and you kind of have an idea of what we're doing, I'll also keep explaining on the go exactly what is it that we're doing. And in the interest of time, we'll actually learn while doing things. And we also have a very good, kind of surprise for all of you. So we'll take you through that just in a moment, right? But before we begin, let's quickly go ahead and start up our Google Cloud Console. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to go ahead and use Cloud Shell. So I will click on go to console.cloud.google.com. So that's the place you want to be at, console.cloud.google.com. And you want to make sure that you are selected in the project that you want to be selected in, right? The first thing that you want to do is click on this icon that says Open Cloud Shell. This will make you connect a terminal and authorize your machine, which is where you are going to go ahead and do some of the initial things, right? One thing that we need you to do right now is just make sure that you are authenticated in your terminal. So what you can do is that you can go ahead and can I repeat which step? So you need to go to console.cloud.google.com. That's the website that you need to go to. And this is where you need to go to for opening up the project page. This is the home page of Google Cloud, and you just need to make sure that you are authenticated inside the terminal, right? By default, when you've authorized your terminal, you will be authenticated. So you can copy paste this command from the code lab, which is gcloud auth list, and that will display the account that is currently active, connected to this Cloud Shell terminal. So that is what we're doing. The next part is the supplier agent, like we discussed, needs the AlloyDB database to actually go ahead and retrieve data from it, push data back to it, give it the memory it needs, and be very fast, right? And we, in the interest of time and also for a better experience, what we're going to do today is, instead of all of you creating your own AlloyDB instance, we have already created an AlloyDB instance for all of you that all of you can use to complete your code labs, and you can connect to it without any issues at all as a part of the code lab. And that's what I'm going to do as well. I'm not going to create an AlloyDB instance. I will go ahead and use a shared AlloyDB instance that we've created for you, and we will all do it together, right? So a very, very important thing is that if you are watching the recording of this call and you are not in this call right now, any of your friends, or after this session, you will want to go ahead and create your own AlloyDB instance and complete the code lab the way it has been written and mentioned. Just for the people in this call, we have created a special shared instance that will be deactivated after the call to save everybody's time and have a better experience, right? So you don't need to take care of things like embedding generation and things like that. So we'll quickly go ahead. What you want to do is you want to go ahead and come to this step, which is get the code, which will help you take the repository that we have already created for you. So you want to click on this blue button that says open in Google Cloud Shell, not the first one. Do not take the first one, but take the second one, right? Open in Google Cloud Shell. Mamsi, I see that you're asking, there's a question, can I use an previous AlloyDB? Yes, you can use a previous AlloyDB, but you'll need to seed it with data and generate some embeddings, etc. And you'll have to follow some steps that we're going to skip today. So if you are going to follow along and would want to reach the end, recommended that you use the shared instance. But if you'd want to use your own AlloyDB instance and seed the data, all the steps are in the code lab, right? So just repeating the step once again, you have to come to this step, which is get the code, and click on this button that says open in Google Cloud Shell. This will open a new tab that says open in Google Cloud Shell. You're about to clone this repo. Click on trust repo and click on confirm. And what this will do is it will go ahead and open up and clone the entire repository of exactly the entire code that you would need to do today's code lab in a very structured way. Open the editor for you, configure everything for you. It will even open a tutorial on the left, right for you, which will take you through all the steps. You can see there are about 13 steps. We'll not follow it right now, but you can always follow it later. But right now, close everything else on the screen, close the terminal, close the tutorial, etc. And just make sure you are able to come to this particular screen. So how many of you have reached this particular screen? A quick show. Perfect. That's great. Right. So now what we want you to do is go ahead and click on terminal and click on new terminal. And this setup, what we've just done, is going to be the place where you are going to go and set up on things, where you are going to go ahead and run things, deploy things. Everything that is going to happen is going to be in this particular page. So I've just zoomed into my screen. Is it better now? Perfect. So what we'll do is we'll quickly get started with the steps of the code lab, and I'll also explain why we're doing what we're doing in the process of doing it, right? So the first thing that we need to do is set our project in the terminal, because after setting our terminal is connected to our billing account and all of the APIs, etc. that we want to use, right? So there's a very simple command, which is gcloud config set project, that we're going to use. So we just paste this command and we will backspace into the arrows, and then after project we will enter our project ID. Make sure you know what your project ID is. If you do not know what your project ID is, go back to console.cloud.google.com. Necessarily, this might not be your project ID, this might be your project name. Your project IDs are always going to be in the third column here in the select a project drop down, right? So my ID is the same as my project name. So I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to paste it here and I'm going to press enter. And what will happen is my project will get set in the terminal. So you will see that it appears here in like a lime yellow color. And then once this is here, you are good to go, right? So the next thing that we'll do is, again, for everybody on the call, you do not need to go ahead and enable public IP or all of these things. We have done all of these in the shared instance, so you do not need to worry about it. But anybody else who's watching this recording or anybody else who's trying this later, please go ahead and follow the steps exactly as they are, right? So that's perfect. So let's go ahead and try to, go ahead and do everything here. So the only thing that you need to do right now is run the setup script. What does the setup script do? We have gone ahead and simplified this entire experience for you, where we will verify that you have a working project, you have Python installed, you have all the APIs enabled, and we just want to go ahead and set up your entire environment variables just by a simple interactive experience, right? So what we'll do is we'll copy this command, which is sh setup.sh, which will basically go ahead and run the setup file, which is present in the root of your directory. And once you run this, you will see that the script will automatically start checking whether you have authenticated in your terminal, whether you have Python, whether billing is enabled, and all of these things. And you can see it says that, hey, I checked that these are the 4 APIs that are not enabled. Would you want me to go ahead and enable them? So why do we need these APIs? Well, you need AI platform to generate embeddings. AI platform is nothing but the embedding API, not the embedding API, but the AI API for Vertex AI. AlloyDB is, well, AlloyDB. Compute is to measure everything that you're doing, and service networking is all for the communication. So whenever you see missing APIs detected, just press Y. And what the kind of script will do is it will go ahead and enable all the APIs by itself, right? So it is a very interactive sort of experience where you can just choose what you want to do and what you not want to do, and the script will go ahead and enable the APIs for you. Everybody able to do this? Yes, Abhi.
There's a question. They're asking for the path for the file, I think, the script.
So it's in the root itself. So all you need to do is go be in the root and just do sh setup.sh. It's exactly how it is in the code lab. So once you are in the terminal, all you need to do is set your project. Once you set up your project, you need to just type sh setup.sh and the script will run. You should see autonomous supply chain setup on your terminal. Is everybody able to see it? A quick show of thumbs up. It is showing no such file or directory. Maybe you're in the wrong location. Make sure that your location shows Visual Commerce Gemini 3 AlloyDB and you're not inside any folder. Okay. So the next thing that we want to do is to enable Vertex AI and the vision agents and everything else. What we will want to do is go ahead and get a Gemini API key so that we are able to use Vertex AI inside of our agents, right? So what we'll actually do is the steps are right on your screen. So okay. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and visit this website, which is aistudio.google.com/API key. Go ahead, open this API key website. You can use any of the existing keys that you have if you'd want to. What I'd recommend is go ahead, create a new API key, name it, let's say, I'll name it CVS14 L3, and choose the project that you're actually working with, right? So you can go ahead, import a new project, and I will choose this particular project to work with. I'll create this key and I will go ahead and copy this key from here, right? So this is the key that gets created. You can just copy it from here. And what you can do is you can just paste your Gemini key here and press enter, right? The next thing that it tell you is that, hey, we want to set up AlloyDB for the supplier agent. Okay, sure. Let's go a little bit slow. So in the setting up the Gemini API key part, you will have to go ahead and open aistudio.google.com. You'll want to create your API key for Gemini here. So what you'll want to do is create an API key, name your API key anything that you'd want to, and choose your project that you'd want the API key to be from, right? If you do not see the project that you've created in this list, click on import project, and then you will see the projects in one of these lists. So if you have missed any step, I'm just showing the API key step again right now. So you can just look at that and you will be able to get the API key. So you can just create a new key, press on this button, and then you should see an API key created on this page. So I'll just wait here for 10 seconds for all of you to finish creating your API key, and then we'll move to the next step. Any questions?
I see Kaushik's question about no space left on device. The best thing you can do there, Kaushik, is to remove all the other projects except for the one that you cloned today from your Cloud Shell machine and try again.
So a quick show of thumbs up on how many people are able to create the API key. Perfect. I see a lot of people are able to go ahead and create the API key. So we'll move on, right? So what we'll do is that I just see Giant's question that says a pre-flight check failed, no authentication. Whenever you see an error, you will also see the solution right there. So when you're seeing that error that the authentication is not there, just go ahead and type gcloud auth login, which is what it will show you, and you can go ahead and authenticate to Google Cloud. So just make sure that you're able to do that, right? So what we're going to do is right now, like I said, you will have to use a shared AlloyDB instance for this particular code lab today. And so that, we do not spend 15 minutes in creating a AlloyDB instance or seeding data into it or anything like that, right? So go ahead and choose option number 1, which is creating an using a shared AlloyDB instance, and then it will ask you for some details. Now, how do you get these details? We have a secure way of granting you access to all of these details. So I'm going to just paste a link in the chat. So this link will actually help you in getting the details required for the particular, connection details for AlloyDB. So just go ahead, enter your name. So I will enter my name and go ahead and enter the access code. And the access code, a little biasly, is code Vipassana is the best. So that's the access code. Once you go ahead, you will see the connection details right here for a AlloyDB string. Are there any sorts of questions before I move ahead
Mohit,
on the API key step?
yes, Mohit, can you repeat this step, why you're doing this and what they need to do to connect with the instance that you're providing?
Yes, I'll repeat this step, Abhi.
Yes, Sachin, this is not in the code lab step because this is exclusively for participants in the call. We experienced that because of the volume of the call itself, the folks in the call, we were not we got a resource exhaustion error yesterday, and we want to avoid that. So we created shared resources which we all can use in the call today. So that's why it's not there in code lab. So if this particular step alone, if you were to follow the code lab later today or even now, you don't have to do this, but it'll take 15 minutes for the AlloyDB instance to set up, which is even if you do the quick setup way. So that's why we're doing this. Go ahead, Mohit.
Thank you, Abhi. So we'll quickly building on that context, right? So let's go ahead through the setup one more time. I'll cancel this setup and I'll quickly go through it one more time. Once you have set your project here inside Google Cloud Terminal, what you will want to do is go ahead, type sh setup.sh, right? What this will do is launch a setup script that will help you make sure everything is right in order for your agents to work and you do not get any errors later. So you can see that it is checking for your authentication, checking for your project, checking for your billing, checking for all of these things, right? In any case that you see that the API is not enabled, any API is not enabled, just press Y, which means that you can enable the APIs. It'll take about 10 to 15 seconds to enable the APIs, and then you will move ahead, right? The next thing that you'll want to do is have a Gemini API key, where you will want to go ahead to this particular website, which is aistudio.google.com/API key. This is how the website would open to, and just go ahead, click on create API key. You can name your API key anything, choose the project that you wish to. If the project that you're currently using is not in this list, just click on import project and you will see the project here in this particular list. Select that project and just go ahead and click on import, right? Then go ahead, click on create key, and then you will have the key created in one of these places. You can see that I have just created the key here, and here is the key. I will copy it and I will paste it here when it is asking me for the Gemini API key. Press enter. The next thing that I will want to do is set up an AlloyDB instance. So what it will do is it will go ahead and scan your Google Cloud project automatically. If you have any AlloyDB instances in your Google Cloud project, which you would normally, if you would have created the AlloyDB instance using the easy setup tool, it will just detect that instance and you will not need to go ahead and enter a connection string or enter anything else. You will just need to enter the database password. But right now, since we want to save everybody's time, what we will want to do is we will use a shared AlloyDB instance just for the people in this call. And we will go ahead and type one, and it will ask you for some particular details, right? It will ask you for the AlloyDB project ID and some more details. How do you get these details? You can just come to this particular website. I've pasted the link in the chat for you, and I'll also give you the passcode, which is that. So you will come to this particular link, enter your name, and then you will have the connection details right here. So you will copy it one by one. So it asks you for the project ID, just enter the project ID. It asks you for the region, just copy the region, enter the region. It asks you for the cluster name, copy the cluster name and enter the cluster name. It asks you for the instance name, just go ahead, put the instance name, and it asks you for the service account key, the path to the service account key. Just go ahead and download this particular service account key from here, and you will be able to go ahead and download this, right?
Mohit, if people see instances from the previous sessions, what do you tell them? Can they just provide the shared instance name in the place where it asks for instance name? Would it
So
work?
if they see instances from the previous one, they can still choose option one.
Got it. That should have answered Subhadeep Ray's question.
Right? And what you can do is you can now go ahead and download this service account, which is the next step, and make sure that you have been able to download this particular service account, and just make sure that you are able to get this into the root of your uh, code base that is here in the Google Cloud Shell. So you can see that I have this service account here. I'm just going to drag it here, and you can see that I have the service account here. I am going to do something right now and not press enter yet because I know all of you will want to see it again. So what I want you to do is download the service account key from this particular page. Just hit the download button and you will have the service account downloaded for yourself, right? Once you have it downloaded, very simply just place it into the particular chat repo that is here for you. And then once you have it, copy the name of the file and just paste it here because you are in the root. Is that easy enough? Everybody able to do it? Okay, I'll wait here for a second. What is the question? We are not getting the prompt to select option for a new DB. Okay, let me do one thing. So I'll make it even easier for you. I'm pasting the env in the chat itself. Just go ahead and paste this, make a .env file. So what I want you to do is, for everybody who's not getting the option to select the shared instance, the .env that I have just dropped in the chat, just go ahead to that .env, paste it in the root of your repository, and just copy that, paste it here. And the only two things that you need to change are the Gemini API key and the Google Cloud project. Just make sure that you change the Gemini API key and the Google Cloud project. Rest everything remains the same.
Yeah, please don't forget to change the API key and your project ID.
Okay, rest everything else remains the same. The entire configuration is here. You do not need to enter anything. For anybody who's not able to get the option or not able to, get there, just copy paste the env that I've pasted in the chat into the root of your folder and change the Google Cloud project name and the Gemini API key. And if your name for some reason is different of the service account, just change that as well here. How to import the JSON file here? If you have it here in your download history, you can just drag and drop it. Or if you have inside, let's say, a folder or something like that, just copy it from your folder wherever it is in your downloads. Just copy it locally from your machine and paste it. So Control C, Control V into the particular Google Cloud console. So you will be able to paste it. It will ask you, are you sure you want to paste it? Just click on paste. Again, paste the env. Sure. Okay. Now, is everybody able to do it? Perfect. So we'll now go ahead further. If there are any questions, so AlloyDB password is again here in the particular credentials itself. It is the same as the passcode, which is code Vipassana is the best. It's there in the env that I've just pasted in the chat as well. Okay. Everybody's able to do this. Can you tell me what to paste in the path to the SA file key? Just put the name of the file key. So just the name of the service account is what you need to put there. So when you've pasted the service account here, you will see the name of this file. Just put the name of that file. JSON is not getting pasted in the terminal. Just, you don't have to paste it in the terminal, paste it in the Explorer and you will be able to do it. Okay. Okay. No extension needed like .json. Yeah, put the .json extension. No changes needed in the JSON. Okay, so let's continue with the code lab now. So once you are done with all of this, you can just skip step number 3, which is database setup. If you are watching the recording later, or if you are going ahead and creating this on your own, you do not want to use the shared instance, just go ahead and follow all of these steps. I'll quickly go how to do them, just in case you want to do it when you're doing it later, but you do not need to do it right now. Okay. for everybody whose env has year and which is using the shared instance. You do not need to do any of the number three steps, and you do not need to do anything. If you want to set the path for the SA JSON file, all you need to do is open your .env, and in this particular variable, make sure it's just the name of your file. That's all you need to do. Okay, great. So what you can do in the entire database setup is go to your AlloyDB instance. So this is the step that you do not need to do right now. I'm repeating again. It's just in case you want to do it later, but I'm just showing it to you in case. So it's in the recording and you can do it later. Okay. So once you open this page, this is the code lab. So once you open the page, just authenticate with the username and the password and the database. So you can authenticate, and the password is what you would have said during your easy AlloyDB tool. For this one, this is the shared instance that I have given all of you access to. So this is the one that all of you will be using right now. And you can see that it already has data. So it already has a table, it already has everything. And this is what all of you will be using right now. Okay, so that's all you need to do. After that, you just need to run some commands. So it's
Mohit,
very,
can you
yeah.
stop it and tell them where they can find the password for the shared instance?
So
It's
the
then,
password, it's here. The password for the shared instance is here. And if you've already copied the env that I pasted in the chat, the password is already input there. So if you've copied that, the password is already in the env.
yeah.
How to
So
open the, yes, Abhi.
they need that for logging into AlloyDB Studio.
Sorry.
No, I'm saying they need to copy that for logging into AlloyDB Studio.
Right, the password.
Yeah.
None of them will be able to log in, right? It's not in their accounts. But later, when they set it up easy AlloyDB themselves, then they will want to use the password that they have. But
Okay.
right now, they won't be able to go to AlloyDB Studio.
Okay. I thought you were logging into AlloyDB Studio right now.
Yeah, yeah, I'm just showing it in case for the recording later. Do you not want me to show it right now?
No, go ahead and show it, please. Sorry for interrupting the
Yeah,
flow.
no worries. So for everybody who's going to watch the recording later, I'm just showing this step for all of you on how do you actually set these things up. And later, if you want to create, do the setup on your own, then you can just do that, right? So make sure that you are able to come to this screen with the setup that you would have done, and then just do the steps here that are present in the code lab. So you will see that there are some commands that you need to run, and you can create enable extensions. So you can copy this, you can paste it here, and you can click on run. These are all from things where you need to do in case you're using your own instance, but since you're not, you don't need to do this. And you can just skip all of these steps. It's very clear on what to do in these steps, so I'm not going to cover them to confuse everybody. Just we will proceed with the steps that you actually need to do for today's code lab in the interest of time, and make sure that all of you are able to complete the code lab very smoothly. Right? Great. So let's quickly understand the architecture, right? The agent stack consists of a vision agent, it consists of a supplier agent, and it consists of a control tower. What you'll be able to do is you will be able to make all of these agents talk to each other, and they will be able to go ahead and do an entire supply chain use case by themselves, right? So what you will be able to do is you will be able to go ahead and make the vision agent talk to the supplier agent, make sure you need to talk to the control tower, and all of these things. So the first agent that we will start with is the memory agent, right? And what does the memory agent do is it actually goes ahead and remembers millions of parts of data using AlloyDB ScaNN. Right now what we're going to do is we are going to quickly go ahead and start this agent. So all of you should be on this particular screen right now with your terminal open. Hopefully you have your env setup done and you have everything done. So you have your env. The only two things that you need right now is your service account in the root folder and your env setup, and yes, you need the .json extension in the path. So that's just you telling the code that, hey, this is the file that is there for my service account and this is placed in the root. Okay. So make sure that you have this particular file inside the root of your folder and the names of these two files match with each other. Okay. If for some reason your file name is different here, make sure you change it here as well. Okay. So now we'll quickly go ahead and start the process. So what you'll want to do is make sure that you have no servers running. So one by one, very simply go ahead and just perform these steps where you will navigate into the supplier agent directory. So this is the agent directory where all the code is, and this is where the supplier agent code is. And what you'll want to do is start the server of the agent, right? So if you press this command, what will actually happen is your agent gets started. And how can you actually verify that your agent has gotten started is you can copy this command, which will show you the agent to agent card for your agent, and you will be able to see it here inside your terminal. So when I put this command, which is curling the agent card for the agent, you will see that my agent has started. This is the autonomous fulfillment for industrial parts via AlloyDB ScaNN. Are you able to get this particular agent output in the terminal? Is there any question or are you able to get it? Okay, you want me to repeat it from which step, just one? Okay, so I'm just going to repeat it from this particular step. So what we want you to do is after pasting the JSON file, okay, after pasting the JSON file, just make sure that your .env is set up. In your .env, the only two things that you need to make sure, no, you do not need to install the requirements.txt. The setup takes care of itself. Okay. So all you need to do is you need to go ahead and make sure that your Google Cloud project matches the project you are in. The Gemini API key is your Gemini API key, which you've gotten from AI Studio. And the third thing is that you need to make sure that the name of the service account matches the name of the service account in your folder, right? You can get this service account from this particular website that we've pasted in the chat, and the passcode for it is also present in the chat, right? So once you have done all of these things, what you'll want to do is just follow the steps in the code lab. For the people who are getting the error that it could not be started in port 8082, which is why make sure that you follow the code lab passwords properly. So you copy this step, you paste it here. This will make sure that you do not have anything running right now. Then you go ahead and navigate to the agents directory to actually find the code of your agent and go ahead and start it, right? What is the agent that we're talking about? The agent that we're talking about is this particular agent. It's the inventory agent that is actually going ahead and going to do an AlloyDB vector search for finding parts and suppliers. What we are going to do is start this agent very quickly. So I will go ahead and start this agent very quickly. So I'm already in the supplier agent directory. You need to do the pip install here in this particular step. So you can see that I do the pip install. Then after this, what we will do is we will just start the agent server. You need to just copy this command, paste it, and press enter. When you press enter, you should see it should just give you a 4-digit code. And then once you copy the next command, you should get an output that looks something like this, which is the description of your agent. And this is your agent card that actually exposes your agent to other agents in the system that will help it identify that this agent, is available to talk to, right? Okay. The next thing that we'll want to do is make sure that we are able to use the cosine similarity operator. The cosine similarity operator is very, very, very important because the cosine distance actually helps us identify the embeddings and identify, find the nearest match. So what we are going to do, which step, I see a lot of questions. So can you fail to connect to the post, couldn't connect to the server? Okay, step 3. So what you will want to do, I'm repeating once again, is make sure that you run this particular step first. Just make sure you run this particular step first, where you kill any existing servers that you have. I'll do it once again for all of you very, very, very quickly. Paste this particular command, pkill-f uvicon, press enter. Take the next command, which will ensure that you navigate inside the supplier agent directory. And inside the blue, you should see that you are in supplier agent, right? After that, what you should do is that you should go ahead, install the requirements. So you will want to go ahead, do the pip install. So I will do the pip install, and then you will see that the pip install happens. Once the pip install happens, all you'll want to do is start the agent server. So this is the next command, right? Once you've started the agent server, what you'll want to do is just check if your agent is actually running or not. And if you press this particular command, which is the curl command, you should get this particular output, which says capabilities, description, default input modes, etc. Right? So are you all able to get this particular output? Perfect. I see a lot of people are able to get it. So that's great, right? So now what we'll do is we'll quickly go ahead and complete the rest of the steps. So what you can do now is follow the steps in the code. They are very, very simple. So what you'll want to do is go to this particular file, which is inventory.py. This particular file is present right here inside the supplier agent directory. And what you need to do here is enable your supplier agent to actually go ahead and use the capabilities of cosine distance, right? So around these particular lines, you will see around this line, line 105, you will see that 116 actually, you will see there is a SQL query. SQL equals to select part name from inventory. What you'll want to do is replace this with this particular query. And if you see what this query does, for everybody who's a database enthusiast in the particular meeting, this is the cosine distance operator that is being used by PostgreSQL, and we are going to cache the embeddings, and the scan index will just work automatically, right? So what I will do is I will copy this query. I will come here. I will only take these two lines, the SQL and the cursor execute, and I will replace it with the lines from the code lab and make sure that it is indented properly. Okay. So make sure that the indent is in line with the comments on top. So once you edit it, it should look something like this. I'll pause here for a second for everybody who's doing it along with me. Make sure that your indent is proper. Your SQL query looks something like this. Okay.
There is also a couple of folks encountering fail to connect to the localhost port issue. I know you addressed this, but after that, there are a couple of questions about it.
Okay. So make sure you go into the right directory and make sure you run the right commands. I've opened a fresh terminal right now. So I will connect my project again. I'm in the root right now. So gcloud config set project, I'll select my project ID. After this, what I'm going to do is copy this first command, which is killing any existing process that I have and pressing enter, right? This will make sure that no servers are currently running in my entire Google Cloud terminal. Then I will copy this command, which helps me navigate to the agents directory and the supplier agent directory, and I press enter. Now you will see that you are inside the supplier agent directory. Next, you should install the requirements required for this agent to run. And once you've installed them, you will see that again you are back in your terminal where you can run more commands. The next thing you can do is this one line that you need to run is starting the server of the agent. You press enter and it gives you a 4-digit code that means the server has started. How do you actually verify the server has started? You will take the next command, which is the curl command, and paste it in the chat, and you will see an output like this. Does it work for everybody now? Perfect. We'll continue with the steps. So you replace this particular SQL query with these two lines, with these lines. So only and only these two lines. So I will do this part again as well. So it previously looks like this. When you have just freshly cloned the repository, when you're navigating to it for the first time, it will look like this. And then you need to copy these lines from the code lab and replace these two lines, which is line number 116 and 117, with the lines you have just copied from the code lab, and just select it and press tab twice. Okay. Once you do this, your queries will be aligned, and then you can just go ahead and close this file. Once you do this, what you can do is just go ahead and test out the agent once again to see if it is still active. And just 1 second. Right. So when I call this, since I close my terminal, everything has stopped. So I will just go ahead and start the agent once again. And now when I check for the agent, it should be all well, right? So you can see that now I have the agent with the SQL query right here. And now if I actually try to make it test something, so this is the query that will actually verify your connection of the supplier agent with the AlloyDB shared instance, where you can just copy this particular command, paste it in your Cloud Shell terminal, and when you press enter, this will actually use your shared service account, call the AlloyDB, which is the shared instance, and search for an item. This is what this particular query is doing, right? So you can see that the Python snippet returns a supplier from the seeded data, and you can see I've done every step in front of you, and it has returned warehouse shelf boxes for me with a supplier. Are you all able to see this line? Perfect. So the common errors are addressed here in this particular section, where if you are getting an error that says no such file or directory, you are not in the repo root, just go back to the home directory and then follow the steps. If you get an error that says port 8080 in use, just copy this command and then repeat the steps. Like that, for every single error, there is a solution given here. So just please follow the steps and you should be good to go, right? The next steps are fairly simple and they will go very fast. So we will go ahead and try to complete them very quickly. I can see somebody's already deployed it as well. So that's great. We'll quickly complete it for everybody else and we will keep times for some questions in the end, right? The next agent that we want to look at is the vision agent. The vision agent is the one that will use the agentic OCR. And this agent is one of the most important agents in this entire orchestration system, right? Because like I said, there is a big hallucination problem with general LLMs where let's say you upload a picture of boxes. It might say that, hey, I see only 12 boxes, but in reality, there are 15. And how are we going to fix this? We will use Gemini 3's code execution and thinking config. So it will actually write code while you ask it a question, right? That is very, very, very cool. No other model does that right now for vision. And this is something that will get you cent% accuracy in any vision tasks. And it has just come out with Gemini 3, right? And we are going to do the main step of this particular kind of entire architecture, which is enabling the thinking config and enabling the code execution tools. So the steps are very simple again. Open the file, which is agents, vision agent, agent.py. So we will go ahead, open the vision agent directory, open the agent.py file, scroll down, and you will see that there are some things that are commented here. Line number 71 to 77 are commented. What you will want to do is just uncomment line 72, 73, 74, and 77. And the code lab shows you exactly how it should look like. If you want, you can just copy this and replace this whole thing with this from the code lab. But in the end, it should just look like this. Line number 72, 73, 74, and 77 should be uncommented. And what does this do is it gives your vision agent the superpower to actually think. And there are multiple levels you can make it think at, firstly. And the second thing is that it will actually go ahead and you will be able to enable code execution, right? So that is another thing that you will be able to do. So also line number 75 should be uncommented as well. So that is another thing that you will be able to do. Once you're able to do this, you can again start the vision agent. It's the same process as the previous agent. The code lab also tells you to do a path check. If you are still in the supplier agent directory, just make sure you go back to the repo root with cd dot dot slash cd dot dot. So Saurav, you don't need the line numbers again. Just follow what is in the code lab. The code lab is very clear with the steps on what exactly do you need to replace. So just find that in the file and you should be good to go. Like once you look at it, trust me, it's very simple, right? So when we're starting the vision agent, we will go back into the root of the repository. So you will see, I will do it in front of you, cd dot dot slash dot dot. This means we are changing the directory and going back to the root of the repository. The root of the repository will always be the name of the repo that you have cloned, which is Visual Commerce Gemini 3 AlloyDB, right? And now again, the steps are very, very, very simple. You just navigate into the vision agent directory, which is this directory that we just made a change in. You go ahead and install the requirements for it. So you do a pip install requirements, and then you will go ahead and start the vision agent server, right? So I will start it, and you can see now there is a process 2 with a 4-digit code. And then you will go ahead and try the same curl command again, and you will this time get the similar structure, but this time the description is an autonomous computer vision agent that is using Gemini 3 Flash. Is everybody able to get this output? Perfect. That's perfect, right? So this is what you needed to do to invoke and make the vision agent. The vision agent and supplier agent are now ready. And the final thing that we need to do is make sure that they are able to communicate to each other. So spending 2 minutes very quickly on how exactly is are we going to enable this. Traditionally, we have been using REST APIs for agents to connect to different agents, URLs, API tokens, etc. But this is not very efficient to do for agents, right? Which is why A2A standardizes this entire architecture, where traditional REST APIs use hard-coded URLs, they use API docs, they use integrations which are manual, but the A2A protocol actually uses a defined structured agent card, which is something that you've seen multiple times. The output that you see here, this is nothing but an agent card. So what you're seeing here, the capabilities, the default output, the description, everything is an agent card, right? The entire JSON is an agent card. What you need to do is you actually don't need to do anything. The entire agent card is already created for the particular supplier agent. So you don't need to do that. All you need to do is again follow the steps. So again, for anybody who's getting a path not found, agent not found, any error, please follow the steps in the code lab. So the first thing that you need to do is do a path check. If you are in the vision agent directory, come out of it, right? Come back to the root of the repository. So copy this command cd dot dot slash dot dot, and you will see that you are back to the root of the repository. Now, what do you need to do? You need to kill your previous agent and you need to just go ahead and start it again. So I will go ahead and go navigate into the supplier agent directory. I will start the agent again. So you will see I have a third process now that has started, which is the agent. And now if I again run a curl command, the agent card is right here, right? So this is something that you will be able to see. Everybody gets an output until here. Everybody is able to get this output. Perfect. And although it seems like it was very simple, which is what I said in the start, what you are able to do is now you have been able to go ahead and create a memory agent which uses AlloyDB. You've been able to create a vision agent which is using Gemini 3 Flash and code execution. And you've also made them talk to each other. I'll pause here for 2 minutes because after this, it's just the demo bit. I can see that, some of you are getting some errors. So if you are getting the errors that no agent is found or no directory is found, just make sure that you are in the right directory. If it says couldn't connect to the server for the port, that means that you are not started the agent perfectly, right? So what you will need to do is just make sure that you start the agents perfectly from the correct directory, and then you will be able to do it. Just one, the database step, SQL step is all the way back in the first step. So sadly, we will not be able to repeat it from there. But if you are stuck anywhere, you can watch the recording later, or you can just go through the code lab steps. They are very, very clear on what to do, and you will be able to do them yourself, right? What does the final output look like, Pratiksha? We'll come to that. We've not reached the final output yet. But when we're talking about the agents talking to each other apart from theory, so imagine this, right? Let's come back to this architecture diagram for a second. You can have different agents. You can have a vision agent, a supplier agent. In another use case, you can have 3 agents. In another use case, you can have 30 agents. How do you make sure that when you want these agents to pass inputs and outputs between each other, there is a very easy way to do this, right? How do you make sure is we use the A2A protocol, which is the agent to agent protocol. This protocol actually helps you make agents talk to each other via a JSON card, which is an agent card. You will see an example of an agent card here. So you can see this is how an agent card looks like. And the best part about this is that these don't need to be only a Gemini based agent cards. If you are using Llama Index, you are using any other LLM agentic framework, as long as you are able to go ahead and create this agent card and expose your agent, you can find the documentation related to it, but your agents will be able to talk to each other, right? And that's what it means by using A2A. The final thing that we are going to do is using a very cool thing to actually see how does all of this work in action. So what you're going to do is, now that you have all your agents started, what you will want to do is go ahead and make sure that you are in the repo root again. So I will clear my terminal, type this command pwd, and it should end with Gemini 3 AlloyDB. Since it has other things in the end, that means we are not in the root. So we will do cd dot dot slash dot dot. That brings us back to the repo root. If I do the command pwd again, which is present working directory, then you will see that your terminal says that you are back to the root of the repository. Then all you need to do is run this script called run.sh, which will actually take care of running all your agents. So if I just open the run.sh for you while it is actually running, you will see what it will actually do is it will make sure that you have your Gemini API key, it will make sure you have your Google Cloud project, and it will go ahead, shut down any previous services that you have, and start all the services again. And if everything looks good, everything is successful, you will see all services running, where you can now just go ahead and your final front end is on port 8080. So click on web preview. If you click on web preview, click on preview on port 8080, and you will be able to open up this particular autonomous supply chain control tower, and you will be able to do this. Jairaj, if you're able to still see the AlloyDB set manager, what I recommend you do is copy this command, pkill-f ubicon, paste it in the terminal. This will kill your AlloyDB setup manager, and then you actually go ahead and you will start it. So you will be able to do it, right? Once all of you are able to open this screen, we've given you some quick images to test out. So you can just go ahead and test out any one of these images, just click on them. And what the agent will actually do is the agent will go ahead and start scanning this image for how many number of boxes are inside of it, right? The agents, I will again repeat how to test this. So what do you actually do is, once you've completed all the steps, are you all able to hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Not sure why this is disconnected. Okay, so how can you actually test out what you have just built? So make sure that your terminal has the agents already, you have your project set. So, oh, I forgot the C. Okay, so make sure that you have your configuration set. All you need to do is make sure that there are no processes running. So I saw somebody said that they are still able to see the UI of AlloyDB Setup Manager. So what you will want to do is copy this command, make sure that you kill every service that is existing already running, and then go ahead and copy this command, which is sh run.sh, that will actually go ahead and run all of your agents. And once the agents are run, all you need to do is click on this icon, which is web preview, and then just go to preview on port 8080, right? This will start a front end like this, which will actually help you test out the agent. I will test it out for you, also show you how it looks like. But a bonus here is that you should be able to deploy this agent to Cloud Run. And one very good thing is, what you will be able to actually do is that when you actually deploy it, so from the root itself, just run this command, sh deploy hyphen deploy dot sh. You actually can enter your name for the deployment. So let's say I enter my name Mohit, and it will show you the summary saying that this is your project, this is your region, the builder is Mohit. You can all enter your own names, and you can just either press Y or press enter. What this will actually do is deploy your agent to Cloud Run, and when you actually deploy it, you will be able to see your name on the deployed website. So if any of you want to post this on LinkedIn, any of you want to share this project with anybody else, go ahead, show them that you've made agents talk to each other, make them, see how agentic vision works. What you will be able to do is deploy this to Cloud Run. And when you actually deploy this to Cloud Run, I'll show you how that looks like. Until then, let's test out our agent. So I ended the, let me just run this. So gcloud config set project CVS 14 and 3, and I'll run the agents, right? So I'll test out the whole agentic system for you on exactly what does it do. I can see already people have been able to go ahead and run the agents and able to place an order, but we will also do it for everybody. So when you actually go ahead and open this, you can see it looks something like this. Let's use this image. It will go ahead and scan the image. So you will be able to see that this is the vision inspection agent in action. This is the endpoint for the agent. These are the skills that it has. These are the inputs that it accepts, etc. Click on continue. And by the time you finish reading it, you will see that the agent actually identifies that you have 14 boxes in the picture. If you want, you can upload any other boxes or any other picture with any other things inside. And next thing that you can do is now this will move on. The agent discovers through the A2A protocol the supplier agent, which will help it place an order. So now what the agents will do is they will try to search for a vendor that ships cardboard boxes, right? And you can see a supplier match is found. This happens through AlloyDB, and then you can see that an order is placed. So you will be able to place an order. So that is how simple the code lab actually is when you're actually performing the steps. For anybody who's watching the recording, please go ahead and just follow the steps in the code lab for setting up the AlloyDB database and setting up the database setup. Doing all of these steps, they are outlined very clearly, and you will be able to go ahead and do the whole thing without any hiccups. For anybody who's trying to connect to the shared instance after like half an hour or an hour after this call, you will not be able to connect to this, which is, because we did it for the call. But we hope you really like the code lab, the output. You can share the deployed version, it will have your name on it, and you will be able to do everything. So I hope that is a quick time check. Sorry if I've taken too much time, but please, Abhi, if you want to close it or have anybody has any questions.
This was phenomenal, Mohit. Really enjoyed. So this particular session, we do not have a specific result submission, but we have a different challenge for you because Mohit went out of his way to create a social media shareable deployed version of the app. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of your shares and tags and other things on LinkedIn. It's going to be pretty colorful, I guess. When he was discussing this idea with me when we were having a call about this, I thought this is something that's going to flood my link, not just mine but all of our Code Vipassana community, all of you, your LinkedIn notifications. So I'm looking forward to that. But the challenge is not result submission, but whatever you're sharing about this, like whatever post you're sharing. I shared this yesterday, something called Code Vipassana Spotlight. So we want you, if you starting 16th, if you shared anything after 16th, that is yesterday and today and for the rest of the month, when until we finish the season, if you're sharing something and if you're tagging folks, feel free to put the link and other details that the form requires into a form, the link to which I'll share right now immediately in this meeting chat. So This is so we can assess that. We'll see along with the top 25 that we recognize every season. This particular season, we'll also recognize a certain number of top influential posts or influential comps that you're doing on social media, only because you've been doing a phenomenal job. And we're really overwhelmed and impressed with everything that you share, and we want to share that spotlight with you all. So we'll give a shout out. We have a good 40,000 member following, including the LinkedIn channels, the meetup group, and also the newsletter channel, and everywhere else. So you'll also get a shout out in those places. So that's what, in addition to the recognition, along with the top 25 and the reward that I mentioned. So here is the form. Um, there's no template as such. You get creative. Whatever result he showed, Mohit, do you want to share that screen? Like, it's not, that is not the only one that we are looking for to be on LinkedIn. Whatever you completed, any screen or any page that captivated you, or share your experience. It can be a post, it can be a video, it can be a snippet of code, whatever it is that you find is catchy, that you can tag folks that are in your team who's building with you, or basically if it's a group of people, not together at one point, but tagged in your post, a group of people tagged. So we'll be looking forward to seeing all those things. It's really exciting. I really want to see who the community is, right? We know some of you have been repeating hashtag. Yes, thank you for reminding that there is a hashtag. I'll share that. It's there in the form. It's my code Vipassana group. Sorry if it is cringe, but here we go. That's the hashtag. All right. Mohit, do you have any closing comments about the session's questions that you see on the chart?
So I think one thing is that it's about the couldn't connect to the server. The couldn't connect to the server error is only because we are not running it from the correct directory. So just please make sure that you are in the directory that the code lab asks you to be in, and all the servers will start. Multiple people have been able to do it, so everybody will be able to do it. So that's just what it is. But other than that, I see that everybody is really liked, having the A2A real demo. So I'm really glad that worked out. And thank you so much, everybody.
Thanks for that, Mohit. And I see a few people asking questions about whom to tag or what to tag. Hashtag I've given. Whom to tag folks that are already working alongside you virtually in Code Vipassana sessions, people that you know, people from your work, or people that you want to notify about this, that you're doing this, and you want to bring on board for next season. So either way, the more the merrier. So we'll be looking for the groups that you're tagging. It can be anyone that you are interested to 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 showcase or spotlight as part of Code Vipassana. So that's pretty much it. Once again, we are at time. We finished very much on time. So um, everything else that we discussed today is in the code lab. The only thing that won't be there is the shared instance, but that's okay because you will get an experience of setting up the cluster instance on your own if you follow the code lab step by step. There's no result submission for this session. You have a social media the challenge, that is the link to which I shared already. I'm going to share it again for your benefit. I actually pinned it. At least if you copied it, could you please share? Or I can do that again. Except that each time the link gets different because I didn't store it somewhere. I'm just getting the short link again and I'm sharing. And the hashtag that we want is my code Vipassana group. There we go. I pinned it again. So feel free to, yeah, either one, the same font, same link. Thanks, Justin, for sharing that. All right. Thank you so much once again, Mohit. You're actually, Mohit is currently presenting from Miami. Are you in Miami, Mohit, or are you traveling somewhere else?
Orlando right now, but yes, Miami next week.
Oh, amazing. You're having fun. All right. So he took time to set this up for us and to talk to you all. So I'm really thankful, really grateful for Code Vipassana leads and also for the community that's repeatedly participating. I see so many repeat participants, and that makes me smile and all of us smile. So thank you so much for that. But don't worry about it. Go ahead and follow the code lab at your own pace. You can keep it deployed if you want. No result submission. If you want to delete the cluster, please do that. No worries. Thank you, everyone. See you again tomorrow. I know tomorrow is Ugadi. We are going to connect anyway for another session. I'll be speaking tomorrow, and then we have a session day after. Um, very breezy sessions. We have only one result submission left, which is on the Friday session. Tomorrow also there is no result submission, but we have another challenge for you. Please join in because tomorrow's session is going to involve memory, session memory, short-term memory, and long-term memory. Short-term memory using session and context, long-term memory using Vertex AI memory engine, and together we'll put these pieces together using ADK for the framework. And this will be a Python stack again tomorrow. And we'll also be using MCP Toolbox, but don't worry, we'll save much time. I'll give you the deployed MCP endpoint so that we'll rush to set up the project and we'll go through the code block by block. And then we'll also go through the deployed application. We'll go through the architectural components so you can build your own production grade applications. That's for tomorrow. And day after tomorrow is a very interesting session as well, very close to my heart, but come back for that. I'm not going to reveal that now. It's there in Code Vipassana site if you want to look. But all that said, the final session that is on Tuesday is right off of the event. Everyone will be thrilled to listen in. I'm excited to learn as well. I'm not the speaker for that. We have Lavi Nigam from the Cloud AI team would be presenting and talking about skills, agent skills, design patterns, best practices for your application. So you can just sit, listen, and watch and just do a couple of commands here and there and enjoy that session all in all because it's going to be really important and really interesting. Monday's session is also very interesting because we have BigQuery in the mix. BigQuery, we cannot miss BigQuery in our season. So we have BigQuery and we have context aware agents being built on Monday. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all through the season. Yeah. So see you tomorrow. Happy Ugadi in advance. And thank you once again, Mohit. Do enjoy your time. Thank you so much for staying late or
Thank you so much, everybody.
left a bit, but yeah, whatever. Enjoy your day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Oh, top 25, how we consider maximum number of submissions plus fastest finger first. So both those metrics will be taken into account for top 25. Yeah, only 3 result submissions. But the social media challenge number 1, which was shared today, will also be considered for a certain number based on the influence that has been established. Yes, Nathan, you have a question? You can talk now. Social media challenge, we'll reveal the number based on the quality of submissions we get. Yes, Gaurang, you have a question? Go ahead. Social challenge is on till the end of the month. Sorry, end of the season, which is the Tuesday. And we'll give 2 days time after that too. So till Thursday of that week. Fastest finger means the early submitters, earliest submissions. Offline Google Office meetups. Yes, we did have one in Hyderabad. Again, I'm not in the selection business, so we have folks to do that from the events team that's running it. So I don't have a say in that. They decide what goes into that. So yes, we do have offline sessions now and then. And students' careers, it's basically if you're already using Google Cloud in your working experience, for example, whether it doesn't matter whether you're a student, everyone's working these days. There's no either you're an intern or you're already working as an apprentice or you're a full-time or an experienced professional with 5 years, 3 years, 7 years, 15 years of experience. And we have people ranging from zero experience to 15 plus years of experience in the mix today. If you're wondering, so it's useful for everyone because everyone's getting onboarded with everything that's latest and greatest. We cannot let the baggage of things that we know outweigh the things that are out there now. We have to keep up with the pace. So we have to keep going and we have to keep learning. That it doesn't matter. It is important to students' careers. If you feel that you're interested in development, you're interested in building and learning the latest and greatest in tech, then this is one of the places to be, of course. But if you feel like this is all overwhelming, you have to start somewhere. And the reason I think this is the easiest and the best way to start is because you're starting by getting your hands dirty. You're building it. You're learning by making mistakes. We are hacking together. We make mistakes. Sometimes our commands don't run. You're helping us debug sometimes, and I'm debugging with you. Mohit was answering your questions. He went back for getting a certain command. So when you build like that, you're never going to forget why you started in the first place. You're never going to forget why you did certain things. What are the design components, design elements behind this? So that's why this is the best way to learn if you're really building to get that experience, not to just get a certification or just focused on whatever is coming up or lined up for you. This is purely experiential. It's purely for the sake of getting exposed to everything hands on. So it will help you in the long run. This is not for short term wins. This is for a long term success. So that's how I look at it. You'll find out what's there for top 25. Last season's winners can post what they received. See, we don't look for anything specific from, we don't, so at least in the virtual sessions, we don't filter. We want virtual. Yeah, Sachin, I'm not getting your question. I see that you encountered an error. Cloud Shell error failed to connect. But you need to go to the logs, why it's failing to connect. If it failed to connect, you have to check what is happening. There's no other, if there is no other log, you need to find out um, localhost port 8081. There is a curl command that you're running and it's failing to connect. You will have to actually look at the logs as to what is happening. Mohit, are you there? You did explain what happens when the connection fails, right, Mohit? Or did you drop off? I think you dropped off. Got it. So why don't we do this thing? Maybe you have follow the code lab, set up your own instance and try it out. Could that help? Or check the logs. Yes, that was one thing that'll help. Delete the instance all over and start all over again. Yeah, hopefully that helps. Yeah. Yesterday's session, you need the endpoint. I'll give it to you. 1 second. So this is the endpoint for yesterday's session. Cool. All right. We are way past time. Thank you so much, everyone. Happy Ugadi once again, which is for folks who don't know, New Year for one of the states in southern India, or a couple of states in southern India, I think. Cool. Thanks, everyone. Bye. See you all in tomorrow's session. Looking forward. Bye. Oh, I forgot to stop recording.